enemy.
Blighted Relic is no more.
Changing magazine. Warp shrine neutralized.
And there is an end to your heresy.
The barrier has fallen. Engage the astropath. Fresh magazine in. There is no going back. Our position has changed, but we must still advance.
Oh, Bulk and an assault ship. Not a bad combo actually. Bulk, assault tactical. Not bad.
Brothers, rally towards that warp energy surge.
And this is our damnation.
Trust our bonds, brothers, not these desperate potent tricks.
What the hell are you punching?
Check your aim.
Go back here? No?
For the Emperor! Destroy and slay the astropath!
One with us.
Really?
Target seeks to mobilize reinforcements. Eliminate.
Behind.
Mark this position. All specs Tacti-Kel Scarab Occult terminated. Clear a blast radius. Reloading.
Brother, you have a shield. What are you worried about?
The arch-enemy are at our doorstep. Grant them only defeat.
Purge discordant one and remake this realm in the name
Oh
of the
crap.
dark gods.
The beast of the warp approaches, and our hunt continues.
All specs prime. We are allies.
Someone needs to kill that target. Whose target is that? Is that yours? You!
Dark gods shall show these heretics only further torment. Rearming. We must proceed
Because
together.
it's just my armor. My weapon just has no freaking armor penetration.
For the Emperor!
I wish there was like a marker, like it's a white skull if it's your target, and it'd be like a red skull if it was someone else's target. I don't know why that only your target has a white skull, and then if it's somebody else's target, you just have to guess based on like the fact that you can't
Positioning lacks
kill them.
advantage, brothers.
That's such a dumb
If we
mechanic.
awaken the machine spirit, we will be able to activate the bridge. Locate power cells, brothers. Location. Focus on that monstrosity.
All right.
Put your fire, brothers. The machine spirit requires power.
Now where are these?
Target rallying reserve forces. Halt it!
Seems in a second.
This minor obstacle will not deter us.
Come here.
Changing magazine. Releasing shock. Check your aim. We have holding their course array. Fresh magazine in.
Restore the generator with power cells.
You know, I ended up not making any progress at all. So you go check that side, I'll go check this side.
I have found a power cell.
I have a power cell.
Connecting the power cell.
I shall repower the generator. Where shall I turn?
Power dwells
Within this device. We triumph over our malformed.
The heretic awaits.
The generator will create a path. The shield is fallen! Release the astropath from this torment! Proceed to check. Lock objective down.
Alright. Well, now we go to phase 3.
We will not suffer any encroachment.
Thank you.
We are allies. Changing magazine. Just death broke its way. You honor the Primarch's legacy, brother. Reloading magazine.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bulwark. Much appreciated.
Traitor identified. Tacti-Kel.
What the?
Rally to me, brothers. All specs ready to scan. I found some stims. Prepare yourselves. Resources acquired. Waste nothing, brothers. The next location. Loyalty expired. Instruction click for the Emperor. Down
All
there,
right, let's
brothers.
do this.
We must continue our hunt through
Bulwark,
that corruption.
an assault, and a tactical. Into the void-ridden bowels of hell. Okay, when you're fighting the Vortex, immediately first thing you do, strafe to the side. There's always the possibility that these blasts are gonna come after you like that. See that? They'll come after you once per teammate. Once it's done, then you can engage normally. One, dodge, gun strike. Dodge. Okay.
The demon beast is escaping.
Remember that. In the first part, always strafe to the side, right? As for his melee combos, usually he does like a 3-hit combo or a 6-hit combo. Here, he'll dive after somebody, or he'll do that. Dodge, that's it.
Find a way out of this foul place. That light could
Just
be an
head straight for the
entryway
exit.
back to our realm.
The reason why you get straight for the exit is because you need to deal with the tentacles that pop
That
up.
beast will know my wrath.
With the tentacles, right? If ever you see something looks like a void,
Start lopping off those limbs,
right?
brothers.
See anything that looks like a void, dodge. I think. See that black void? It doesn't matter where it comes. As soon as you see a black void somewhere, dodge.
Strike down that spearman.
Because it can be for you, it can be for an ally. But either way, it's better safe than sorry. Alright. Okay.
Tentacles are
Phase 2.
neutralized. Unleash on the demon.
Laser beams again. Dodge around. One. Come on, it'll shoot for one of us. Okay. Looks like it doesn't want to go for me today.
The demonic beast shrouds itself in
Ow.
arcane armor.
Okay.
This whole relay station is rotted through with heretical scum. Cut the contents off from the Vortex beast.
Grenade out should do the trick.
Purge the hellspawn.
Next. That's 2 on that side. There should be 1 or 2 more on this side. Grenade out.
Releasing frag grenade.
Which means the last one might be on this side here. Up there it is.
All specs ready to scan. Heretic sighted.
Just enough for the final phase. And that's it. GG. And that's how you deal with the Vortex Mutalist Beast, right?
The loss of the astropaths is unfortunate.
It's a beast. It's a creature that seems difficult to fight.
Their replacements. We have
It seems difficult to fight on the surface, but if you look at the body of the creature and you know its timings, it's actually not that difficult. It is still probably the hardest of the Terminus boss fights, together with, say, the Trigon, but it is very manageable. I might, it might be better if I did a video on how to fight the Vortex Mutalith Beast and how to fight Chaos Spawns. But basically, when you are battling these creatures, right, when it comes to Chaos Spawns and Mutalist Beast, Vortex Mutalist Beast, the key thing here is to watch the creature as it approaches you. They actually have slower animations than most other Tyrannid or most other Rubric Marines, right? So it's actually about patience. Don't spam the block button. That actually does you a disservice, and that's how you get caught up in their attacks. But if you just go, basic blocking, like if you do it slowly and deliberately, you'll get through it no problem. Oh, this is the second time we've done this weekly. Both times we've done it with the Tacti-Kel. I lost the recording of the first one, believe it or not, by accident, so I decided just to do it again. Ironically, it ended up being with the same composition as last time. It was a random bulwark and a random assault. We were literally running the exact same perk setup. So all in all, a rather...
I salute you.
Yeah. So all in all, not the most difficult weekly. The map being Vortex is probably the most daunting aspect of it. A lot of people will simply be turned off by the fact that the mission is Vortex. In my personal opinion, I think Obelisk is a much more difficult map to navigate than Vortex is. But again, it comes down to how you handle the situation. And even as you could see here, even with the ads that was some of them you had to only you could kill or only an ally could kill, even with that added in, it's still not that bad. There are worse situations we've had regarding weeklies. As for the the actual class and the weapons that we went with, let's take a look at them now. First things first, for the vast majority of the mission, we went with this weapon setup, featuring the Stalker bolt rifle, heroic heavy bolt pistol called Retribution's Bequest, and the fencing chainsword, right, called Aquilan Dedication. Right. As far as the actual Stalker bolt rifle variant is concerned, right, we took the max damage, right, variant. Right. And as for the perk grid, right, first we took Unwavering Resolve, right? After reloading with low ammo, your damage is increased. As an alternative, you can take Divine Might, nothing wrong with that, right? But the reason why we took this one is because it goes across to Adamant Hunter, right? When your HP is low, your headshots deal more damage. And again, your headshots also just do more damage in general. Shots will penetrate block stances, dealing 25% of the usual damage. Again, more headshot damage. Then we head down to the lower tree for increased capacity to give you more maximum ammo reserve. It's really important that you have as much ammo to play with on a Stalker rifle, because for all the damage that it does, your ammunition is quite limited. Thankfully, the Tacti-Kel does have some perks that help us work around that, and we'll get into that after. Then we take Reload Restoration. After reloading, your ammo reserve is restored by 50% of the number of enemies hit. You cannot exceed the max ammo capacity. Very useful if your shots can pierce through enemies. Then we take Great Might for extra damage against Terminus. It wasn't too necessary this time because our teammates handled, most of that just fine. But yeah, it's useful to have. Then we took Remote Threat. Enemies at a distance of more than 25 meters take 20% more damage. Right. As for Retribution's Bequest, the perk grid that we went with is the same as we usually always take. They don't really matter too much, although getting as much ammunition and magazine size does help, right? And the last one we take is Gunstrike Reload, because reloading Gunstrikes is really important. But why do we choose this variant? It's because of the heroic passive. When a Majorist enemy is calling for help, this will one-shot them if you hit them in the head. It will kill them down outright. And alternatively, if you shoot them in the body, it will cancel the call anyway. As for the weapon, for melee, we took the fencing variant of the Chainsword. The reason why is because of the passive buff that you get during this mission. For this weekly, all melee weapons are given a passive that basically put them on par with this one, Argent Edge, the heroic combat fencing knife, which is basically you have a shorter window to parry, but in return, every time you do, you riposte the enemy and it actually breaks their melee attack chain, their melee combo, and sets them up for a gun strike. That applies to any weapon that you take for melee other than block weapons during this week. So at this point, you might as well take a fencing weapon at that point, right? Now, as for the perks, right, we spec into the entirety of the lower tree, right? A lot of this basically gives us extra damage against extremist enemies and reduced damage received when we're doing light combos. Of course, we also take Trampling Stride so that we can do a double stomp if we need to for Minoris Clear. Now, for the final portion, right, we have basically the same setup, right? But we also took the Pyreblaster just to deal with the Vortex Mutilith Beast. We take the entirety of the top row, speccing into dot effect, burning damage over time. Right? The direct damage of the weapon doesn't matter, it's the burning ticks that matter the most here. Right? Now, as for the actual tactical class itself, right, the first thing we take is Kraken Penetrator rounds, where bolt weapons penetrate one more enemy. Non-headshot damage is increased by 50%. This isn't the most important thing when you're using like the flamethrower, right? As it doesn't count as a bolt weapon, but your Stalker rifle and your heavy bolt pistol both do count. So by using this, it allows your weapons to pierce more enemies, and like I mentioned before, the Stalker bolt rifle has a perk that when you reload, you get ammo back based on how many enemies you hit. Having the ability to penetrate enemies actually does help with that. Next, we take Heightened Vigor, right? After you do a perfectly timed parry, block, or parry, block, or dodge, you deal 10% more melee damage and gun strike damage, and of course you don't lose control upon taking heavy hits, which means that your gun strikes are less likely to be interrupted. Then we take Emperor's Vengeance. This is a very important perk that allows us to take our Stalker bolt rifle without too much concern, as it restores your primary ammo capacity by 1 magazine every 30 seconds when you execute a Majoris or Extremis or even Terminus level enemy. For our team perk, we take Secure Stockpile. This is probably the most powerful team perk that the Tacti-Kel can bring, simply because it means that you and your teammates don't need to be too conservative regarding your grenade usage. Then we take Vital Data and Battle Focus. Why? Because by having these two, it allows us to have a lot of uptime with our Auspex scan, and allows us to use it when we want to use it. What I mean by that is, right, using Vital Data, every time you scan an Extremis or Terminus level enemy, it restores the charge by 50%, which gives you maximum uptime. In addition, if they're just regular Majoris level enemies there, but there's a lot of them, but you're considering, how to kill them quickly, having Battle Focus allows you to basically apply an Auspex scan every time you parry, which maximizes the damage that you do in melee combat against all forms of Majoris level enemies, including, right, Chaos Spawns. Chaos Spawns run at you, one parry will immediately tac scan them, and then you gun strike them, and they're pretty much set up for an execution. Then we take Concentrated Fire, which increases the zone of the Auspex scan, and while inside, the enemies that are in there take 120% more damage. The problem is that if they leave, right, they lose the scan mark. So you need to make sure you time it in such a way that the enemies are going to be in there for as long as possible. Alternatively, should the enemies leave because of rapid movement, you can reapply the Auspex scan simply by fighting them in melee range and just parrying them. That'll do the same thing. For the team perk, we take Radiating Impact. This is probably still the most powerful of the perks for a tactical signature because the amount of radial burst damage that it does is extremely high. It will knock any, if not all, Majoris level enemies in that radius into execute range when it's done. As for our prestige perks, the first one we take is Skill Supplier for more ammo reserve. We take Spare Power so that every time you pick up an ammo box, it restores your Auspex scan by 25%. We take Resilience so that Medicaid stims restore more health. And Second Look. If no enemy has been scanned by the time Auspex disappears, it's completely refunded. As an alternative, right, Acuity is also not bad, right? Having ramping increased headshot damage is actually very good with rapid fire weapons. So if you're going with, say, the bolt rifle or the heavy bolt rifle, then this is definitely the choice to go with. Also, Fortitude is not bad as well. Having increased HP is very valuable for a tank, especially on high difficulty. Having increased HP can help you survive. And that's the build that we went with today. This was actually the second time doing the weekly. Ironically, we ended up with the exact same comp, despite, again, queuing in with randoms, right? It was a tactical bulwark and an assault. I think that combination works really well for this week's mission. And the tactical can handle range damage, while the assault and bulwark handle melee combat. And they all work well against the Vortex Mytholith Beast. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you very much. Thank you as always for watching. And if you like the content, would like some more, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please feel free to let me know what you'd like to see next. And as always, be safe, be well.